For example, fetishes, racial or ethnic stereotypes, etc. Story 1. First-generation Mexican-American married to a beautiful black woman. My wife's grandmother, who raised her, went to her grave refusing to acknowledge me as her granddaughter's husband. She would always refer to me as that Mexican boy and constantly ask my wife when she would find a nice black man, that kind of stuff. She loved our daughter to death, though, so there is that. We also had to stop going to a lot of clubs and bars, as our being a couple seemed to cause friction with other black men. My wife's first sentence to me was, "I don't associate with Mexicans like that." It's a bit of a running joke between us now. Story 2. Because I have now dated a total of 2 Asian women, my parents like to comment about how I really love the Asians. I've dated more non-Asian women than Asian women. They also like to talk about how Asians are so quiet, reserved, and smart, and so it makes sense that I am interested in them. It really irritates me because, obviously, Asian people are just people like any other race, and there are not personality traits associated with race alone. One of the Asian girls I dated was very quiet, reserved, and sensitive, and the other one is extremely outgoing, boisterous, and somewhat chaotic. They are both just people. Story 3. I'm Latino. Some of the girls I dated used to ask me to speak Spanish in bed. My Spanish is terrible, and the bits I know are from my grandmother or school. I definitely don't know dirty talk. I also get comments about dancing. Women think I'm an expert tango and salsa dancer. I had to learn the basics of both because it was requested so much. I can cook, but it gets listed as a racial trait instead of it being my own skill. Anytime I express interest in something or show skill, I hear, "You Latinos are always so passionate." Story 4. Native American male here. I promise we're not all dead. Our population is not so big, but we're still here. Also, I've never ridden a horse in my entire life. Edit. Alright, a lot of these responses are reminding me of this Dave Chappelle skit. Story 5. White husband, black wife. In crowded places or even just an average grocery store, the number of times people cut between my wife and me because they don't assume we are together. The same thing happens with her family. People will cut me off from the group frequently enough that we've started to notice it. Story 6. Asian guys in the United States have to fight against many stereotypes that women generally do not find appealing. We are often viewed as foreign, bookish, geeky, shy, quiet, short, skinny, and having small physiques. Essentially the opposite of what many women, even from our own race, look for in the ideal man. This is reflected in dating since Asian men are statistically the least desired among all male racial groups. Story 7. Indian or Pakistani male here, born in California. I always get that you're really attractive for an Indian guy, or you have really nice eyes. Who in your family is white? As usual, there are girls out there who definitely believe the pervert stereotypes but are surprised once I speak in an American accent. I will say the dating scene is worse for Indian men who have an Indian accent. Although it can be really frustrating, there are tons of great girls out there who don't rely on fetishes or stereotypes. To those Indian guys struggling out there, both of my exes have dated Indian guys after me but not before. Just be yourself and prove those stereotypes wrong. Story 8. Nothing is more unique about culture than race, but the more the other person was raised with a different communication style and ingrained expectations, the harder the relationship is to maintain. I dated a girl who said in her family, "Fighting means you care." We didn't last very long. I think mutual respect and respectful behavior are very important. Story 9. I'm Korean, and I have had an ex's grandma ask me, "Does your kind like lemonade?" To which I said, "Yes, my kind likes lemonade." It's a strange thing in the United States where I feel like Asian people experience a sort of blasé racism rather than the full-on "we hate you" racism that I see towards black people and Latinos. This applies to parents of girls I've dated outside of my race, and I've dated every race. So this isn't strictly for white girls. Also, girls or their parents ask me to translate Asian food menus. Them, "What does this say?" Me, "Orange beef." Them, "How can you tell?" Me, "It says orange beef in English right there." Story 10. Not me personally, but I know a lot of guys who are Indian and have it difficult because of the stigma attached to Indian men being perverts and all. Story 11. White guy here in England. I think the only thing I've experienced is that parents of girls of different races aren't necessarily too happy with their daughters dating white guys, but otherwise I can't really complain about white guy dating. My lack of dates is because I'm ugly, not because I'm white. Laugh out loud. Story 12. I'm a white guy who dated a black girl for a while and ended the relationship for a few reasons, one of them being pressure from my family. I was in college and living at home, and I made dinner for the two of us like I had for other girls. Afterwards, my parents said, "You didn't tell us she was black," as if I had to warn them or something before she came over. After that, it was, "We don't have a problem with it, but what will your uncle, your grandmother, and others think? Like, what the heck, Mom?" Story 13. Not really a race thing at all, and also very minor. I am a ginger, and the first thing everyone asks is, "Does the carpet match the drapes?" Like, I have red hair, red body hair, and red facial hair. What do you think? Story 14. Self-fetishization mostly. Women using their minority ethnicity as a kind of trading card into sexual behavior when I actually try pretty hard to treat it like it isn't there. This is almost impossible. I used to go out with a girl whose ethnicity was half Indian and half French, and she used to introduce herself 13 years ago as a little bit racial. It was both hilarious and awkward, but I don't think you'd get the same response now. Story 15. It's not race per se, since I'm from Russia, have Ukrainian roots, and currently live in Germany, but I can't help but feel I need to hide anything Russian-related in me. When I changed my Russian name to an American name on Tinder without changing the pictures and the description, I started getting way more likes. Have you ever heard, "I love Russian dudes," being said by any non-Russian woman ever? Ever wondered why there is maybe one straight couple where the man is Russian and the woman is not Russian-speaking for every 100 couples where it's the other way around? Could you name 5 Russian movie characters who are not the bad guys? When I read essays written by people with Black or Asian heritage growing up in Britain, I can often relate, but there is no book discussing Russians or Eastern Europeans in the same context because, hey, we are white, so we shouldn't face any obstacles at all. So it's not about struggles, but more about uncertainty and fitting in, but not quite fitting in. Story 16. Normally, I would be lumped into the white guy category, but having a Russian accent and being singled out as a commie is very off-putting, especially since the person I'm speaking to and I were born after communism fell. Story 17. I am black. Scratch that, I am half black and half Indian, and I am tired of people denying my Indian side. I look more black, so girls always question me when I do not always act like what they expect a black person to act like. Like, sorry Karen, I am trying to balance 2 cultures and myself. Okay? Listening to Six Lack and eating a lugobi should not be that strange. Laughing my ass off. Story 18. Black male here. There's always a sort of surprise on people's faces when they hear what I'm doing in school and what my life goals are. No matter how well I dress, how educated I am, or how I present myself, I always feel like I have to prove myself. It helps sometimes because I carry a chip on my shoulder to do everything to the best of my ability, but it's also tiresome. Story 19. Asian guys have small genitalia. Konnichiwa senpai. In incoherent accent. I am Thai and she knows that. Sorry, I don't date Asians. I don't know why. I just am not attracted to them. Asian men are too feminine for me. You look like a good submissive boyfriend. Yay for feminist, I guess. Asian men are the most sexist. They beat their wives. Is it true you eat dogs? Asian men trying to date women of other races, from my experience, is simply hell. It's not their fault, so I don't know who to blame here. And it's not always true. My good friend married a white woman and they are really happy. An irrelevant bonus was when I presented a book to an editor and he said, "Nobody wants to read about an Asian guy. Why don't you make it a woman and have her date a white guy instead?" While that might be true from a book-selling standpoint, it stung. Story 20. This might sound weird, but I think I face particular stereotypes for being a light-skinned black male. Similar to Asian guys, light-skinned black men are seen as softer than dark-skinned black guys. This may be more of a black culture thing, and I'm not sure how many non-blacks know of this. But when any woman of any race says she likes black men, I figure they're referring to dark-skinned black men who are tall and more masculine looking. I'm short and light-skinned, and women call me cute. Story 21. This is a fair critique for a lot of factors that merit longer explanations, but I'm a white guy living in East Asia. Guys moving here to date Asian girls is a common occurrence, as is Asian girls dating foreigners. I didn't move here to date Asian women specifically. It is just a natural progression of living in Asia and wanting to still date women. Since it is Asia, they are usually Asian. Story 22. Currently seeing a white girl and having issues because she's close-minded about Asian culture. Anything more authentic than General Tso's chicken is too exotic for her, and she has shown no interest in Asian media, not even Studio Ghibli movies, but Disney movies are fine. It makes it difficult to suggest things to do since Asian culture is part of who I am, and it's something I'd like to share. Story 23, white man here, mostly from outside the relationship, but also occasionally from the women themselves. I'm just fetishizing them. I'm just trying to get experience with different women before going back to a white one. And my least favorite, that I'm just trying to get progressive points. Also, the one man that saw me on the train coming back from a date with a black woman who started ranting about white men stealing his black sisters and her being ashamed of her race. But that was a typical New York City crazy man, so I don't really count that one all that much. I've gotten similar comments from dating older women as well. Story 24. Honestly, my main frustration used to be dealing with my parents' reaction. Their parents have always been nice to my face, at least. Now, my parents know that they can keep any objections not based on personality flaws to themselves. For example, I don't care how they feel about her race or religion. Is she a good person? Then go with it. Story 25. I'm half white, half Mexican. I look like a Latino but was raised in an English-speaking household. I know absolutely zero Spanish, and some of my earlier girlfriends tried to get me to teach them Spanish or flirt with them in Spanish. When I explained to them I couldn't, they were extremely disappointed and then made snarky comments like, "Wow, a Mexican that can't speak Spanish. That sucks." At the time, things like that hurt my feelings. Story 26. Getting judged for not speaking fluent Spanish, or, "You must know where the best tacos are." It's not offensive or anything at all, but it's funny how often it comes up. Story 27. I am a white man dating a few black women right now. I live in a predominantly black neighborhood, and black men will often mutter under their breath and shake their heads when they see us walking together. One time, someone shouted "bedwench," and my girlfriend cried for a good hour after. It really sucks. Story 28. This might seem whiny, but the fact that it just doesn't seem like an option for me. I'm a black man. I've got a face that only seems attractive to other black women, and I'm 5 feet 10 inches, so a lot of people call me short. I don't think I've ever talked to a Hispanic or Asian/Indian woman outside of work or school. White women seem wholly uninterested. Everyone else pretty much doesn't exist in my realm. Edit. I didn't expect attention, but thanks for the stories and advice, people. We're in this together. Story 29, Arab male here. I've had girls ask me if I could say something sexy in Arabic. I ask them if they have ever heard Arabic before. It's a language that can be beautiful but definitely not sexy. Story 30. When people find out she's of Chinese descent, they say things like, "I used to know a Chinese person. Who cares? It's just rude." If she were white, you wouldn't say, "I know other white people." Not so much specific to race but related, is that I can't speak her parents' language and she struggles too. It's frustrating not being able to have a proper relationship with them. They're lovely people, always feeding me, but the most complex exchange of words we've ever had was about the size of different rice cookers. People often say hello to her even though she's English and her family doesn't speak Mandarin anyway. Her reply is usually, "Go away." I know it's more her problem than mine, but it's frustrating by proxy. This also applies to other little racist things that people don't realize they are doing. She also looks like she's about 16, so I look like a total creep. Story 31. An Indian here. Most of us know what stereotypes are related to us. People who move from India to abroad are generally well aware of the situations such as racism, bullying, and so on, and most of them try to keep a low profile so as not to give out any bad impression. Online dating for an Indian is challenging. Even the Indians you meet in real life will be calm, humble, and not too pushy. I'm not generalizing here, but all my friends in Germany are like that. Most of us don't even try approaching girls in real life. People back in India who are so-called keyboard ninjas will say things because they don't care. Some of them still have this mentality that white girls are promiscuous. They believe these girls can easily give in and send inappropriate pictures to them. I knew a few guys when we were in our late teens who would pretend to be a white guy to talk with a white girl. I know it's weird, but that's just probably 0.1% of the population. Speaking for myself and my friends abroad, we've never tried to approach a white woman because we are aware of the stereotypes related to us. This awareness makes us self-conscious and leads to the thought that she would, in any case, reject us. Story 32. My dad said if I bring a black girl home with me, he would take her to the kitchen and have her start doing the dishes. I know this is extremely racist and very messed up. It saddens me that people, especially older generations, are so racist. I mean, it's 2019. I don't even know what the reason for some racism is. Like, why would someone think a person from another race is less than just because of their skin color? It's just bizarre. I mean, judge people on their intelligence, their manners, and so on, but not by skin color. I mean, it's like judging someone by hair color. I was basically raised to be racist, but I figured out for myself that we all are the same. I might not be physically attracted to every black girl, but I'm not attracted to every white girl either. Recently, I am attracted to many more black girls, and it scares me to think that I might fall in love with a beautiful woman, but my parents wouldn't accept her because of her skin color. It's really bizarre.